Hello everyone, I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and I'm here to follow up with the Digital Homicide lawsuit that we talked about last week. While I'd love to report that James Romine came to his senses and decided that the lawsuit was a bad idea, I unfortunately cannot. Instead, Mr. Romine himself reports that the removal of Digital Homicide's games from Steam shut down his business, forcing him to dismiss the lawsuit against 100 anonymous Steam users before it even got started. Mr. Romine requested that the Arizona federal judge allow him to dismiss the Steam lawsuit without prejudice, meaning without extinguishing his claims, and allowing him to refile the claims again at some future date. Hopefully, he'll remember to observe his statute of limitations, which are the various federal and state laws that limit how much time can pass before you can no longer bring a claim. In his request, he explained that he can no longer afford the costs associated with the subpoenas to Valve. Generally speaking, the requesting party is responsible for paying the reasonable costs borne by witnesses in responding to a subpoena. These fees can be significant, depending upon the amount of work necessary for a complete response. Entire industries exist to sift through business documents and determine what is responsive to a subpoena. The judge granted his request to dismiss the suit without prejudice. This means no subpoenas were ever approved and no one's identity will be revealed to the plaintiff. Mr. Romine also requested that the judge refund his $400 filing fee. That request was denied. While it's still possible for Mr. Romine to return to court in this or some other lawsuit, it's unlikely that any such endeavor would yield a positive outcome if he actually doesn't have any resources for the process. While I do laugh at his mishandling of this matter, the money issues raised do bring up a great topic to discuss: access to justice. Let's say you come to an attorney with a meritorious case. Hypothetically, let's pick a borderline case here in the United States. Let's say you have a young child who attends public school. Someone mouthed off to the teacher who turned around and smacked your kid on the butt. There was no mark, little pain, but the kid is obviously traumatized. No one knows if it was your kid who mouthed off, but the teacher didn't know that either. Your attorney may quickly identify the legal violation involved, but what about the rest? There's no public assistance for worthy lawsuits. Someone will have to pick up the costs for conducting the plaintiff's investigation, paying for the filing of the lawsuit, hire an expert witness, pay for the kid's mental health counseling, pay for the court reporter's time and transcripts from depositions, often hundreds of dollars each, and if victorious, there's often another battle over collecting the award money and any attorney's fees or costs. This can make a simple civil rights lawsuit cost many thousands of dollars, often into the mid to high 5 digits. These costs must often be borne by the plaintiff themselves. If one party has more resources, time, and/or money, like the school in our hypothetical, then sometimes that party will do everything they can to run the other out of funds. What is a broke defendant to do? It's not pretty. I've seen parties empty savings and retirement accounts, borrow from anyone and everyone, sell property, and worse. Plaintiffs without money can't maintain their case, and non-criminal defendants without money often bungle their case because no one will help them understand the specific situation they're in. Many meritorious cases are simply not brought to court because the plaintiff can't afford to. In Mr. Romine's case, there's some serious doubt that the case is meritorious, but that's somewhat besides the point. He didn't ever get his day in court, his chance to be heard and have a judge make a reasoned decision. The same problem of access to justice happens right here on YouTube. The other day, I awoke and excitedly checked the stats on my latest video, only to see a yellow dollar sign indicating a monetization issue. I immediately found that I had lost monetization for not being ad-friendly per YouTube's updated content policy that we talked about a few weeks ago. If this ever happens to you, and you believe that your video is ad-friendly, you have to manually trigger the process to remonetize your video. I found and clicked the checkbox to request a manual review and again fired off a complaint email to YouTube. After about 8 hours, monetization reappeared on the video. I didn't get a notification email for either the demonetization or the remonetization. I did get a response from Dinah with YouTube's support team who thinks my videos are great and shares my frustration. She otherwise has no details that she can discuss with me at this time. Imagine that you spent time making videos for others, partly for the love of creating and interacting with the community, but also partly because you could rely on the small amount of cash to cover your costs, and with hard work, maybe even make it a real independent thing. YouTube is great for making the premise possible at all, and I don't want to minimize any of that. But without concrete guidelines as to what can get monetized and what can't, creators are left guessing, and guess what? They'll be more likely to err on the side of caution rather than risk losing monetization on videos that really can be a production sometimes. My last video appears to have been automatically flagged as not ad-friendly, simply for using the words homicide and suicide in the title. Am I supposed to dumb down my attempts at clever titles so that I don't trigger the demonetization bot? What if one of my amazing videos finally goes viral during the hours in which I lost monetization? I bet YouTube doesn't make up for that to creators. And creators take all the risk. I am now turning to Patreon to assist with the costs of producing my content. I'd love it if I could make this a real independent gig, with daily content and assistance with research and writing. So I've provided a link to allow you to donate if you would like to contribute to future content and help the channel grow. This video, I'd like to thank Mike Huddleston from Auckland, New Zealand, who is currently my sole supporter on Patreon. Thank you very much, Mike. Your support and enthusiasm is what keeps me going and helps make new content possible. How does everyone feel about all of this? Do you think it's just a product of a weird business model where someone makes a thing and then tries to get paid for it? And how about Mr. Romine? Should karma have shut him down for his less than high quality games and poor handling of trolls? Meanwhile, his lawsuit against Jim Sterling waits for a ruling on Jim's motion to dismiss, which I plan on covering in an upcoming video. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the comments. Please remember to like and subscribe, and you can really help this channel grow by sharing this video as well. I'll have another video out next Monday. Thanks again, and have a great week.